some men now still charge around like dogs. They operate best not thinking to. Yeah, right. Even some of your husbands, ladies. But sometimes men overthinking things is trouble, right? But not for us. We artists, So,
what's happening?
Oh no, we are going to start sharing.
Yeah, look, I can project. We've both been on stage.
Okay. Just shout if you can't hear Rob, and we will elevate his voice.
I also want to open up to the floor. I'm sure you guys got lots of questions as well.
Yeah, don't be shy, guys, please.
There's something that we all relate to in the way that gang gets together, and I think we're in many ways we're all outsiders in our own ways, but it's also the way that there's diversity in that group, in the sense of the way that people think.
Yes.
And it allows them. Spud is our interlocutor for that as well.
Yes.
He allows us to see other people and can be critical of them,
yes,
but to ultimately kind of accept them.
Accept them. You're right. There's a sense of acceptance about the Crazy Eight,
yes,
and I think that's what's different to most other male groups. There would be it's hard to see a Vern being allowed to stay in a group with a Rambo and a Simon, right? in your boys' school, but because we were all thrust into that one dormitory, it meant. You have to.
Yeah.
Okay, it didn't mean that you were always sitting next to the guy and, at the dinner table. But you know how it is. It's usually the small oaks all get clumped together. The guy, the victims kind of lurk at the one side, and then the hardcore rugged guys, who've been shaving since 11 on the other side. And I wasn't even shaving when I left school. I did a post-matric, I still missed it. So these guys are shaving from the start, full class. And that just sets it up from the start that we were so different. But you're right, and I think that's what is special about the Crazy Eight, that no matter how bizarre a Vern is, or how irritating a Garlic is, at the end of the day, they still have their place in the Crazy Eight. Even Spud. Even if he stands outside and he judges and he's critical or challenges Rambo, whatever the case may be, there is a place for him, for all those boys, unless they choose to walk away. And then obviously in this reunion, that almost becomes a reality. It looks a serious reality for a lot of the book, that it's going to be a disaster.
It's going to go south.
It's going to go south, and it can't not go south.
I want to speak about failure. Because that's
mine or Spud's?
As a theme generally in the book, because I think it is there, and it's something that I feel very, very strongly about, and I think it's very much attached to Dad, to Spud's dad. It's really beautiful, and there's a
thank you. Actually. Rob, it's wonderful that you're selling books for me. You're cheering up, talking about Spud's dad. If someone
and
was
he's
thinking,
the most ridiculous. He's the most ridiculous character, right? He's hilarious, and we love him because of what a loser he is. He's just like an absolute loser. And by the way, the casting of Aaron McElroy as his dad is just genius. I mean, he's one of my favorite actors ever. But his of that part.
I had to fight the director quite hard to get Aaron.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't imagine anyone else playing that part.
But he looked at Aaron. Aaron did a video at his audition. It was hilarious. And we were all of us watching on this big screen at the place with the director, and everybody was posing. And the director was just
not getting it.
He goes, in my opinion, when everyone laughs at The Office, it's never funny on film. No. This guy is going to be funny.
He's funny.
We were having a drink after Saturday night, and it had been announced on the Friday that there was Spud The Reunion was coming out. So it was quite a buzz around Hilton, which was quite nice around the festival. People were chatting to me. And Aaron comes up to me, with those eyes. He looks angry with you. He goes, all that stuff where he makes noises and snorts and doesn't really articulate. New book. So I'd say, yeah. He goes, is Dad in it? So I said, yes, he's in it. Because, he's maybe worried Dad, wasn't in a part. And he's like, how old is he? So I said, he's 61, and then he turned 62 in the book. And he goes, perfect. Give me a call. So he's keen for the reunion.
He's so great to have films made from your book, and then to see actors like Aaron and then John Cleese inhabiting roles that you have created. I mean, first of all, I know what it's like to be an artist. We're so preoccupied with the job of surviving that we very rarely...
Which gets us back to failure,
Exactly.
what you were saying earlier.
We very rarely acknowledge our own successes. We very rarely take the opportunity to go, oh my God, I wrote an entire series of books that were made into movies, and John Cleese was in the movie. Do you see any of those characters now when you're writing the books? Has any of the casting of that influenced the way that you see the characters?
Very, very good question. And yes, you know what? It's quite interesting. I think people might think that I imagine the original person who I based it on.
Yeah.
Okay. Like the original Vern or the original Rambo. Now the weird thing is that's completely shifted. Maybe when I wrote the first one I was, but now I see different picture. But it's not the movie guys either, except for John Cleese. All right?
That's what I was thinking. Like, how do you, once that he's there?
I only found that out now. Because when I was writing 2, 3, 4, I wasn't seeing John Cleese because the Gov was a combination of my agent, Roy Sargent, who you might have known, but he was more of a sort of quite a grumpy, you know, but he still had that kind of stuff where you were talking to him and you would be like, okay lad, well goodbye lad, and you go, goodbye Roy, he's already hung up, you know, kind of like he's gone. And then this teacher at school who was drove a Rolls Royce, a green Rolls Royce, called Julian Willis, who was my English teacher, and legend had it that he pulled a gun out of his briefcase a couple of years before I got to school and pulled it on a boy for not doing his homework. Yes. So anyway, this is like school legend, right? So this is the guy that inspired, and then he knew my dad started. We mentioned Cleese right up front, and somebody said, no, he's retired. He's not working anymore, and he won't come out to South Africa. So we looked then at others. We went to Hugh Grant, which I didn't think was a good call, but Ross Garland said Hugh Grant's never made a movie that hasn't made X $100 million. So we went for Hugh Grant. I don't care if he doesn't fit. And obviously Hugh didn't even reply. And then we had Bill Nighy, who considered it and then I think didn't do it, who would have been quite nice too. And then we went for Stephen Fry. And Stephen Fry got close to doing it, but then didn't do it, right? That would have been interesting. But now we've hired these agents, when I say Ross and Brad, the producers, and hired these agents in London that give you 3 months, and you paid them like $15,000, $20,000 to go and get this talent, right? And that's you've got to pay money to get these guys to go get the big fish, right? And they give you 3 months. And if you're gone, you're gone. That's your $20,000 gone. You know, they've done their job. And so we had one more roll of the dice. And then, I don't know how it came out, somebody said, no, Cleese is working. And we were like, what? And they said, yes, and he's just got divorced and he's got to work. He music to our ears. His fourth divorce, and he's been taken to the cleaners, and the oak owes his wife $8 million, and he's hungry to get back on the train. So we're like, really? So like, we'll send them the script. And Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and we were walking around the streets, and I went to an internet cafe, and I got an email from Ross to say, John Cleese is over the moon with the script, and he wants to do the Gov, and we are now into the negotiations. It's not like we had the money, but then we have Cleese, then you go to the money men and say, we've got John Cleese, but we need more money because we've got John Cleese. So you know how it worked. But it was such an adventure, and then just goosebumps when John Cleese is arriving for the first day we were meeting.
Because when I read the book, when I got to the scene where Spud meets the Gov in his roles, I immediately saw John Cleese. Yes. It was just like his head popped in.
And that's what happened. I was writing that and I suddenly saw John Cleese.
Yeah.
Well, you know when you feel someone's read your book and like they've gone there and they've gone through. Thank you, man. And cute observations that we've had tonight. And it's been great fun, so thank you, Rob.
Such a pleasure. I wanted to end by saying thank you for everything that you've done. You have an incredibly astounding body of work, not only with the Spud works, but with the Mamba stuff. You are a cultural force in this country, and we appreciate you and we love you. Thank you very much.